Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Fiber ASMRt. My name is Allie, I'm a fiber artist. This is my assistant, and Zoe, and she is going to be hanging out with me tonight. So if you've been watching my videos for the last 3 months, you know that I am recovering from my 12th hydrocephalus related surgery, and so I decided, as part of my healing process, that I would spin some art yarn, and that I thought was visually representative of would visually represent the complexities of hydrocephalus. And now I am knitting a wall hanging of sorts to go along with it. So tonight I am going to be knitting this wall hanging for you. And I also want to dedicate this video to my fellow Hydro warriors out there, and all our wonderful supporters who are helping us live the best lives we can. Normally I don't use notes for these videos, but for this one I want to make sure that I take time to acknowledge all those wonderful people who have helped me in my struggles with hydrocephalus, and I want to make sure that I don't miss anyone. And so for me, one of my challenges that I haven't talked much about is how it can be challenging to have an invisible condition, and I'm gonna call it a condition because I don't think it's a disease. It's just a condition. Because you know, when it's invisible, obviously you can't see it, and so you have to hope and pray that people will trust you when you say you aren't feeling good or you aren't feeling well. So for me, those people who have believed me, I am eternally grateful to them. So, so I want to take this opportunity in this video to mention some of the things that people have done and probably didn't even realize that they were doing something that made a huge difference for me. When I was 15 years old, I had my second hydrocephalus related surgery, about roughly 10 days after the surgery, I started having headaches and dizzy spells, and that continued for over 3 years. So for over 3 years, I had headaches and dizzy spells just about every day. It was definitely worse for me than I ever really admitted at the time, because I knew that people were having trouble believing that I was having headaches and dizzy spells and needed to go to the nurse all the time. But it finally got so bad in my senior year rather, that I would try to go an entire week without going to the nurse's office. And so, for all those teachers who let me go to the nurse's office, who believed me, or who didn't question me that much, I am eternally grateful to you all. I know my geology teacher let me go to the nurse's office a few times my senior year. My geometry teacher, she did a great thing for me, although I didn't seem great at the time, but I am eternally grateful to her, because she didn't give up on me. I was failing her class because I just didn't understand how to apply the math. And after I asked a question about how to apply the math later on in life, or how it would be used later on in life, she called in my parents and recommended that I get tested to see if I needed extra help. And turns out one of the challenges that you can have with hydrocephalus is you can have slow processing speed in math and science. And that was the first time anybody had ever told us that. and without my math teacher realizing that something was amiss, as opposed to just some kid who was blowing off her work and not working hard. She recognized that I needed extra help. So I was able to get the help that I needed, and I had the support of most of my teachers. There was one teacher I had who didn't believe that someone could be in an honors English class and have a learning disability. And I actually now refer to them it as a special learning ability, because that sounds way better. So I'm very, very grateful to all the teachers I had in high school who did believe me. I'm also very grateful to all of my friends who helped me out and would help me get places as when I wasn't feeling good. Like I said, no one ever knew really what it was like, because I didn't want to be that person who complained all the time. Some other people I want to thank are my really kind classmates who made me feel like I was one of the smart kids. And to me, the smart kids were the cool kids. And I always wanted to hang out with them. Most of them were really kind to me, and I guess I was one of the smart kids too, but I wasn't taking AP classes. I was just taking half honors classes and half regular classes. But I'm very grateful to all of the kids who were nice to me and made me feel like I was just normal eccentric, geeky high school student. Once I started college, I realized that well, actually, I want to back up for a minute. I also want to thank my resource teachers from in high school who helped me get the assistance I needed to be successful in all of my classes. As I know I wasn't always the easiest student to have, because age 16 is a really bad time to be diagnosed with a special learning ability. And I'm sorry if I was not always as well behaved as I should have been. But now looking back on it, I'm very, very grateful for all your help. I'm also grateful to the nurses at the school, at the high school, even though I think they were skeptical at best of whether or not I was telling the truth about having headaches and dizzy spells. They still let me lay down for 20 minutes when I needed it, and I know that made a big difference for me. And when I was having headaches and dizzy spells virtually every day. And we move on to college. And when I was at the start of college, we actually found out why I'd been having headaches and dizzy spells for so long. And that was because my shunt was overdraining and draining too much cerebral spinal fluid. So during my first attempt at my freshman year in college, I ended up needing to have 4 surgeries. But before I had to take a break from my freshman year of college, I met some really nice people who I am actually still friends with today, and one of them was the matron of honor in my wedding. She has been absolutely incredible, and even though I know I'm not always the easiest person to be friends with my ongoing challenges, but I'm very grateful to everything she's done, and I'm very grateful to the people I met in college who helped me out and didn't abandon me when I'm sure that probably would have been the easier thing to do. But you know, I have friends, several friends from college who I am still friends with today. You guys know who you are, and I am forever grateful to you all for everything. Seriously, everything. And, you know, 8 surgeries in 6 years is, would have been way harder, without you guys. So, thank you from the bottom of my heart. You won't ever know how much it meant. I also wanted to thank my friend Christina. She's been friends with me since we were in college, or not even, no, since we were in elementary school. Like, our first play date was the summer before I entered kindergarten, and she ended up being my maid of honor in her wedding, or in my wedding, and I was the maid of honor in her wedding. So, and just to show you how far we go back, and she has actually commented on a lot of my videos, which is why I feel comfortable saying her name. And she's like my big sister. We're 10 months apart, and she's always been at least 10 months more mature than I am. But she helped get me through all those surgeries. As like that year where I had to have four surgeries in 5 months, she was calling me almost every day and checking on me and reminding me to hang in there and stay positive, and remind me to find something to laugh about every day, which is not easy to do when you're in a lot of pain. But she was far more confident that I was going to be okay than I was. But having her, having her there to be supportive and rational when I couldn't be, was extremely helpful. I also want to thank all my professors who let me take incompletes and who put up with me having headaches and issues, and in particular my political science professors, because my undergrad degree is in political science, and those poor men had to put up with a lot. I say poor men because I didn't have any female political science professors. So I don't think I did. it was definitely a challenge. And the thing I'm most proud of professionally is that I graduated college. Because 8 surgeries in 6 years is no walk in the park. Let's see. I definitely need to thank my doctor, Dr. David Frem from the University of Chicago. And I hope to eventually put together a video about just how awesome he is. But he is one of the top hydrocephalus doctors in the country. He was the one who confirmed that my shunt was overdraining, and he did the initial surgery to get everything to put the programmable shunt in, and he was able to get everything, figure out how to get the pressure balanced out. All in all, I think he's done 7 of my surgeries, so I trust him. He seemed to trust me too. You want to have a doctor who trusts you, and who you trust. It makes it easier, easier to be able to feel relatively confident going under the knife. I mean, it's still scary to have your back cut open or your head cut open, but it would be scarier if you didn't trust them. But yeah, so if you think but yeah, he was the one who discovered that I had low pressure syndrome, and he's also discovered when I've had slip ventricle syndrome, which basically means that low pressure syndrome is where the shunt's draining too much fluid, and which was what was causing the headaches and dizzy spells for 3 years. The slip ventricle syndrome is what happens when the shunt or the ventricle collapses around the shunt. That's not fun either. So, if there are any hydro patients or hydro parents watching this, those are things to ask about if you're having headaches and dizzy spells. Some people have been amazing part of my support system. Obviously been my parents and my friends and family and my brothers. As and my parents were, huge advocates for me. My mom still is, and I'm sure my dad would be if he hadn't been killed by a drunk driver 9 years ago. He was a huge advocate for me. He was always encouraging me to follow my dreams and telling me, if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And so, I keep that in mind while I'm making YouTube videos about fiber art. I also have to thank my eye doctor. You wouldn't necessarily think to thank your eye doctor, but he was very important because at one point when they were trying to figure out the pressure or situation in my head, my doctors couldn't figure out if it was the flu or the shunt, and finally the eye doctors that recognized that I had papilledema behind my eyes, and he called up my doctors and said that he wasn't letting me out of his office until they agreed to see me. So that was how I ended up getting checked out, and they ended up discovering that I had really dangerously high pressure in my head. So I, for the last several years, I've been telling people that he saved my eyesight and potentially my life. I also gotta thank my grandma, because my grandma is awesome, and she's very encouraging, and she calls me Seabiscuit because I'm a fighter, and when things got hard, I keep on running and keep on fighting. obviously I also gotta thank God and my pastor for helping me get through those tough times, and my friends who introduced me to the concept of a higher power, I had some friends who would get together with me every Saturday morning, and we could talk about the Bible, and that was really interesting for me. And hopefully that was interesting and fun for them. I have one last person I have to thank before we move on to post-college is I have to thank President Obama, because he was continually advocating for the Affordable Care Act, and the reason that was important was because I was more afraid of losing my insurance than I was of having surgery. I remember I had 8 surgeries in 6 years. So for me to say I was more worried about losing my insurance than I was about going under the knife, that's kind of significant. And the Affordable Care Act for me meant that I wasn't going to lose my insurance when I turned 26. So that was important for me. And my parents and I were advocating for the Affordable Care Act to get passed, and I'm very glad it was. Obviously it needs tweaking, but I'm very glad of the protection for people with pre-existing conditions, because I don't have 50 grand laying around to pay for surgery. Now, post-college, I still had some challenges, and pardon me, I also had some amazing friends from college and from other parts of my life. One challenge that came up was I had been dreaming of serving in AmeriCorps for 2 years, and I got accepted, and I was told that they accepted people with shunts, but it turned out they only accepted people with shunts, but they didn't let them stay. So that was rough. But I did have some friends from AmeriCorps who stayed friends with me, and fought for me to get back into AmeriCorps, and I'm very, very grateful to them. You guys know who you are. In fact, one of them was was one of my bridesmaids, and the other one read at our wedding. So they're a very important part of my life, and they were there for me after my father was killed, and I'm just eternally grateful to them. That they were willing to stay friends with me in spite of the hydrocephalus challenges that I had. Let's see, I obviously have to thank my amazing husband, who has been awesome. I told him about the hydrocephalus, I'm pretty sure on our first date, because I was trying to figure out, what he could handle, and he was, and it didn't scare him away, so, I'm very grateful to that. He spent lots of nights with me in the emergency room, and even my ex-boyfriend came to see me a few times in the hospital. And I've had numerous friends actually who came to visit me in the hospital, and who helped me out when I was having hydrocephalus challenges and complications. And they know who they are, and I can't name them all, but I try not to use people's names on my channel without their permission, but just remember, it's really important to trust people when they say they're not feeling good. Believe them. Hydrocephalus is very complex, complicated. But there's a reason they call us Hydro Warriors. We are warriors. We are fighters. We want to live normal lives and fall in love and get married and follow our dreams, and the hydrocephalus, it doesn't change that. Oh, I also have to thank this little one. And our other dog. Because they took really good care of me when I came home from the hospital. Well, this last time I had surgery. And they take really good care of me when I'm not feeling well. Oh, it's like they have a sixth sense or something. A sixth sense or something. You're such a good girl, Zoe. Alright, well, I think I'm gonna do another couple of roads here. I thought of another people I have to thank, and that is my employers this time around for my last surgery, because they were incredibly supportive. After when I called and told them that I had to have emergency surgery. they trusted me when I told them that I was struggling and that I needed to have surgery, and they kept me on anyway. And I'm very grateful to them for that. I really hope you like this video and that it's been informative. And that it's helped you learn a little bit more about hydrocephalus and about, you know, the importance of believing people when they have a condition that you can't see. You know, our brains all work differently. That's what makes it so complex. There are lots of things that can go wrong, but not every hydrocephalus patient will have to deal with every single problem. And I think that my struggle with hydrocephalus, or my struggles with hydrocephalus, have made me a more compassionate and empathic person. And I'm a big fan of the philosophy pay it forward, because it used to make me crazy that I would never be able to pay everybody back action for action and dollar for dollar that, and they did to help me. And I finally realized that even if I couldn't pay people back action for action and dollar for dollar, I could pay it forward. And so that's what I do. And I hope that people know that, sorry, excuse me. I hope nobody thinks that their actions went unnoticed by me, because, Excuse me, getting tired. I definitely did notice it, and I'm very, very humbled and grateful. Well, I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, day, night, and whatever time of day it is for you. If you like this video, please comment and hit subscribe so that you can get updated on when more videos come out. Now that I'm feeling better, I'm gonna try to post them more regularly. Once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon. Take care.